1 second. All right. Tyler, take it away.
Hey, everyone. And thanks to the Atlanta Ventures team for putting this on and for inviting me to meet with you guys and share our story. So I'm Tyler Senecal. I'm the founder and CEO of SagaCity. We're a B2B software company that's building infrastructure for the early stage private market. So SagaCity started with one conversation with a venture capitalist where I learned that they had surprisingly little information on the companies in which they'd invested. That really baffled me. And so I spent the following months after that talking to dozens of VCs from around the world and found that that was actually a status quo in early stage private market. So I became kind of obsessed with figuring out why that was and trying to understand how I might solve that problem. So along the way, I started working with some incredibly talented people who joined the team. So Brad Dunson came on as our CTO. He has a background building enterprise software at VC-backed startups. And then Joshua Russell joined us as another senior engineer from Divvy Homes. So during this discovery, while we were out speaking with the market and doing research, we discovered a couple of key problems. So the first primary one was that venture was essentially stuck in the past. So most of the firms that we talked to were running on tools that were launched years ago, like Microsoft Excel, which was launched in 1985. And it kind of made sense. So up until really recently, venture's been a cottage industry that really didn't require great tools and certainly didn't have space for building a venture scale company in the space. The second thing we saw is that the existing products that had been built provided either point solutions or didn't deliver on the promises. They hadn't been widely adopted. So when we talk to the market now, what we're seeing pretty consistently is like less than 2% of firms that we speak with have a tech stack that they're happy with. And so the third point there that we saw was that most data that VCs were getting from their companies were in unstructured and non-standardized formats like emails or PDFs or newsletters or spreadsheets. And so the impact of this is pretty profound. So in the current state, there's a few things that are happening. So most firms, right now, most VC firms have data on less than half of the companies that they've invested in. And then those firms are stuck relying on manual processes, spreadsheets, cumbersome workflows for their portfolio management. And then a lot of time is lost as a result of this. So their LP reports are sometimes lagging. They sometimes contain stale data. And then the other thing is, firms end up missing out on a lot of the signal that could be gleaned from the data that they were getting if only they had a better way to capture that. And so this is the space that we're coming into. We're building the first effortless portfolio management solution for VCs. I did want to touch on when I introduced our company, you noticed that I said that we're building infrastructure for the private market. I'm not going to go into a bunch of detail on it, but as I will just kind of mention that as we pulled on the thread to understand the current state of the early stage private market, one of the things that we discovered is that a lot of the value points in the ecosystem were largely dependent upon the same data sets. So like on the founder side, you look at fundraising, due diligence, investor relations, more fundraising. And then on the investor side, you think about deal flow, due diligence for them, internal analysis, LP reporting, and then making follow-ons and exits. What we saw was a lot of these key functions rely on largely overlapping data sets. So we see a really interesting opportunity to connect this information in a brand new way to bring efficiency to the industry. With that, though, we've really chosen carefully to start with the data collection problem because without good data, nothing else really matters. So really ultimately with collecting and organizing better data that does two things for firms. So one is it improves LP reporting quality and timeliness. So this is directly tied back to the firm's ability to raise future funding. And then the second thing it does is it provides the firm with actionable insights. And this directly ties back to their ability to impact their return outcomes. So our portfolio monitoring platform promises to collect and organize data while reducing efforts by almost 100%. And we use a multi-pronged approach to do that. So first, we have a streamlined reporting platform. So basically, VC firms that we work with pick the data and the documents that they need and the frequency they want to collect it. And then our streamlined and secure platform handles all the automated notifications, provides analytics on the reporting cycle, and gives portfolio companies a simple and secure process for completing the update requests. But we're also building something completely new to really make this process just totally frictionless. So we're launching a new product that leverages generative AI and LLMs to take unstructured data and map it into the portfolio dashboard. So what this is going to do is it's going to unlock a previously inaccessible world of new insights, and I'm really excited about that. So today we're in private beta with a number of great development partners. We're really focused on continuing to build our customer empathy and developing a frictionless solutions to the toughest problems in this industry. I'm really excited about what's ahead for the year ahead. So I'll stop there, and then been told you guys wanted to check out our product. So I'll jump into that with a couple of minutes. So our platform, what you'll see here doesn't include any of the new stuff, the generative AI piece that I mentioned, but this is our current reporting platform. There's two sides of it. What I'm going to show you today is the VC side of it. So really simple, minimal kind of layout here. At the top, there's some analytics around the current reporting cycle. So this is about really offloading the workload of the data collection and tracking process and giving investors really simple tools to know what's going on, to know who's reported and who hasn't. So you can see some analytics around the reporting cycle they're in, when their data request deadline is, and then where they're at, like how many of their companies have they heard from. And then they're able to drill into the company level. And here they're basically getting like a one-pager. So this was designed based on making it easy to do LP updates. So VC firms, just like all of us founders, they have, most firms, I'll say, put an asterisk beside that, most firms have limited partners who are the investors in the fund, and VCs are out fundraising just like us. They're doing investor relations just like us. And so this mimics what we see with a lot of LP reports. So at the top, there's just a company name, description, CEO, headquarters. It's got the vertical. You've got all your data. So the latest updates are in folders here. And then here you can track some of the high level metrics on them. And then there's some commentary down here. And then we've got ways where they can see the data on the companies they've got. They can pull the data out. Yeah, so that's SagaCity in a quick nutshell. I guess
That's
a couple
awesome.
things. Yeah, I was just going to say a couple things to wrap. I'm happy for anybody who wants to get in touch and learn more to, screenshot this, reach out. I'll also say we're out meeting with investors now for our first institutional raise that we're expecting to close in Q1. So I'll hold there.
Congrats, Tyler. That's really cool to see. SagaCity, I hope I'm saying that right. I kept calling it SagaCity, and my apologies on that. But that's very cool. So before you go, again, hopefully if anyone wants to get in touch with Tyler, here is how you do it. But could you just walk us through the pricing model real quick? And then we'll turn over to the next folks. And if there's more questions, we of course, maybe you can answer in the chat. But talk us through that pricing model real quick.
Yeah, I wish I could tell you that we had a really sophisticated, fleshed out pricing model, but we're just not at that stage right now. We have ideas, based on the market, based on where we think we need to go with it. But the way that we do pricing now, we're focused on alignment around the partnership. So we're not publicly selling the product. We're selling basically to work with development partners who help shape and inform this. And so price is really secondary to us, but it's custom, part of the conversation that we have up front. So I wish I had a better answer there for you.
No, it's a great answer. It's always good. Build with partners are such a helpful thing early stage. So hopefully you're getting good feedback. Hopefully you're able to connect with some of the best people and they can inform, hopefully, your good product roadmap. So that's a great option. We do have a couple more questions in there. So if you want to answer that, I know Catherine answered one, but I want to keep going. So Tyler, thank you so much for sharing the product. It's really cool to see. I'm excited to hear kind of where you go with it. And, when you start selling to the public, maybe we'll be able to see.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Of course. All right, Tyler, thank you. Next up, Jessica on cue. I appreciate it. So you take it away. And I will turn off my video.
Cool. So just going to share screen. Okay, guys. So my name is Jessica Hubley. I am founder and CEO here at Story LLP. I spent the last 15 years serving as a general counsel to literally hundreds of startups and a founder of several. So I have watched up close how much of a difference access to quality legal services can make to a company's success. But for founders who lack lawyer friends and family, and especially those from historically underrepresented communities, that access is really hard to come by. In fact, of the humans who could use legal help for themselves or their business, studies show that only about 30% even try to get it, right? Without that legal help, founders make preventable mistakes that actually cost them very dearly, especially over the long run. Reality is today's legal services industry just doesn't actually serve most humans. So I created Story LLP to democratize access to quality legal services and information, and to help lawyers and clients cooperate to get more of what they deserve. We do this with General Counsel AI, powered by a patent-pending legal language model, and trained by our growing alliance of 650 specialist lawyers, all from one dedicated inbox. So I'm going to show you a bit about today how it works. So when you sign up through our website and set up a password, you get a welcome email that invites you to start submitting files, zip files, forwarded emails, whatever you got. You can keep forwarding these on an ongoing basis. When you send them to us, we do a few things with them. Number one, we create a diligence optimized legal file for you. So that's the first thing you'll see here. And as you forward new documents, we will continue updating this file. It is structured. We've renamed everything. So it's one-click export if you're going to do diligence. To share these with your investor. The next thing we do is an actual red flag analysis. So this recreates the diligence process for you in advance at a time when it's cheapest and easiest to clean up mistakes. So we pull out all the critical info about your company. We also pull out red flags that are event-based. So things you missed or consents you didn't get, et cetera. This recreates somewhere between $10,000 and $50,000 of legal work that a VC might pay a big law firm to do in diligence. Next, you can use your dedicated inbox to trigger key day-to-day legal actions, like hiring, firing, issuing stock, issuing options. You send a quick email with hire in the subject line, you get back a custom form. You click authenticate because you're about to initiate legal actions for your company. You confirm the exact type of event you want to conduct. And then you're going to enter details that look a lot like a form you might fill out on other services. But the biggest difference here is that behind this form, we're not just filling in the same PDF like Clerky or LegalZoom would. We're actually making judgments about what the right form is for you, what the right process is for you, how to optimally time those forms. So these inputs might generate anywhere from 2 to 5 documents. on what's currently a few dozen different possible forms and might become hundreds over time, optimized for the state you're in and things like that. That includes issuing options, things that require board consents. So you might get these documents over a period of a few months, depending on, in this case, when the employee start date is, because you don't want to issue options before they start. So that's it. That's all you had to do. You're going to go back to your inbox and have received an invite for your first signature request for their hire employee event with the optimal documents to get their IP assigned before their first day of work for optimal enforceability. You just log in and sign, you review that everything looks the way that you wanted it to look. And then your employee gets the forms and we go from there. And we, by the way, we update that legal file once these forms are signed. So that's the product. People like this so much, they sell it for us. I'm not kidding. We are pretty much drowning in demand for our current offerings and enjoying kind of insane margins. We made just over $30,000 in a few months from 17 pilot subscribers paying an onboarding fee plus less than $200 a month. We've actually also got now almost 300 entity clients. And I'm noticing this deck is old, over $1.5 million in aggregate revenue from placing work with our attorney alliance, on which we enjoy a 20% revenue share. So when people need custom human work, we place it for them. These insane margins exist in an insanely large market, which actually theoretically only represents 30% of the insanely larger potential market. If we only ever sold 100,000 subscriptions to this product we're building right now at this price, we would make a $240 million annual market. But keep in mind, there are 31 million entrepreneurs in the US alone who could subscribe. This is the product that I built because it already had product market fit, though I have built many, many software products before. I realized that I can't get to 100,000 subscribers by myself. So I've actually identified part of a growing team to help meet this demand. At the moment, we are building this product and this company on our profits. So what I'm interested in talking to people about today is, number one, if you're the kind of person that would want to be in our beta starting in Q1 next year, we open it up past the pilot subscribers. We'd love for you to get in touch. You do need some legal budget. We are admittedly not a free software, but we're also very interested in talking to investors about being channel partnerships, helping us actually meet their startups, improve their legal position, increase their ultimate exit valuation, and save them a lot of headaches and a lot of time along their startup journey. So would love to talk to anybody about those things and really look forward to your question. Thanks, everybody.
I love this. Thank you so much, Jessica, for sharing. We do have a few questions. I'm going to try and get to them. And if not, we will, of course, allow for you to respond in the chat. But one here is, there's a few other players in the market for a similar service. And so how do you plan to keep competitive with a revenue model?
Yeah, so there is nobody else that can practice law with software that I have seen, whether they're legal AI, document generators, marketplaces, et cetera. We can do what they do. They cannot do what we do. A lot of those companies are founded by lawyers with like a year of practice experience that don't really understand what a senior lawyer is going to need to participate in a product. And they're also training their document generator models completely agnostic to client circumstances, position, the stage of their company, a lot of things that as a human lawyer, you're going to make a judgment about what document to use with that. So you can use ChatGPT right now to generate an NDA, and it's a crap NDA. And if you show it to somebody who's not a lawyer, they often can't tell the difference. But if you show it to a good lawyer, they can point out about 100 different problems with the NDA ChatGPT put out. So I don't worry too much about competitors who are building a product based on existing LLMs, because they're getting bad legal work that ultimately is going to cause problems for their customers and it's going to kill them. The other thing I see happening is folks start doing this work and they don't realize that they are not allowed to practice law with software because they don't have the business model that we created. So they end up having to pivot to sell lawyers, and they're trying to sell lawyers a product that destroys the lawyer's business model and gives them no upside. So that's not a competitive landscape I'm super worried about.
I see. Great. I love to hear the descriptions there. And I think there is one more question up here. You kind of touched on it, but maybe you can also address, like, it's they're talking about what role should lawyers play in verifying and validating the AI generated legal advice, right? So like, maybe, I'm not sure if he means in this product specifically or beyond. So maybe you could speak to that a little bit.
I believe that there should always be a human in the loop to some extent. But over time, that human level of involvement becomes asymptotic. So the way that we handle this is that right now lawyers design and approve every single document. A human looks at every single document that goes out, or at least knows exactly how it's going to come out before it would be automatically sent to the user. That's not to say that there's a lawyer sitting there paid by the hour to look at every offer letter, right? The point is the lawyer has designed all the offer letters, has designed all of the logic, and we've set it on autopilot because we now trust that process. Over time, as processes get more complicated, the documents that we generate can be offered to the client with the caveat that they're not legal advice for a cheaper license fee. If they're just looking for a form, it'll be the best free or cheap form they'll get out there. But ideally, the client works with a lawyer who gets that document as their precedent, customizes it for the client needs. The lawyer's job becomes only the most fun parts of their current job, most interesting parts of their current job, and our software handles the grunt work. By building those kind of precedents, we've solved the second of two problems, the first of which we already solved, that keep excellent lawyers from disadvantaged and historically underrepresented backgrounds from succeeding in big law firms. Number one, the client base. Number two, the precedent library that those law firms have. So we'll be solving for both within the next year.
I love it. Okay, great. Well, there is a second part to that question, but I'll let you respond in the chat, and hopefully, I know you put your contact up, but if you want to throw that again, if people want to connect with you or find you on LinkedIn, let us know how to do that. And we appreciate you sharing. It's really cool to see what you're building. And if anyone, of course, for her ask, is interested in connecting for a beta, or on the other side from the investor side, feel free, hopefully, to connect with her when she puts her contact in. So thank you, Jessica.
Appreciate it.
All right, next up, I will invite both Nemeth and Spencer. If you're both here, okay, there's Spencer for one. All right, I will let y'all take it away, and I'll turn my video off.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Tate and Nemeth Ahmed. I'm a co-founder at Dotflo. I go to Georgia Tech. I'm a grad student here, majoring in CS and specializing in machine learning. Spencer, take it away.
Hi, my name is Spencer Tate. I'm one of the co-founders at Dotflo. I'm a senior at Furman University, and I study economics. And welcome to Dotflo. So just to break down what Zama means is we recently pivoted, and it's a testament to embracing innovation and prioritizing efficiency. And that's what we're doing with Dotflo Zama. So we want to tell you a little story. Meet James. So James is a person we actually spoke to last week. He's an e-commerce owner, and he just bought a list of 1,000 prospects. So in that list, you have your first name, their last name, the company he works at, maybe an email address as well. From there, James has to go research the internet, maybe spending 15 minutes per prospect, and then ultimately sending that message. Or he'll pay someone on Upwork about $30 an hour to go do that research for him. So James, along with 25.5 million other e-commerce owners, do this similar manual process that takes hours, and they just hate it. So Zama search, what are we going to give to James? So James meets us. So what we're going to be able to do is simply allow James to upload his prospect sheet, and we give him personalized outreach, lead management, and then profile matching based off James's team and the prospect. So how does it work? So let's say Nemeth and I are in that prospect sheet. He would simply upload that to Dotflo Zama. From there, our AI agent will look for articles, blogs, personal websites, and anything relevant that James is looking for. It will then cross-reference his team. So we'll get a lead profile. So Nemeth is a grad student at Georgia Tech. He's a co-founder at Dotflo, recently joined the boxing club. That might be important. Was there any similarities between James and Nemeth that he wants to be able to point out in that first message, the second message, or in the meeting? But yeah, so it looks like they actually share an interest on writing Medium articles. And then finally, a personalized message that James can shoot off. Imagine doing this for 1,000 people. The time adds up, and people are already paying us to do it.
Let's talk about pricing. We have two tiers of pricing right now. The standard one comes with the standard Zama search, which has a personalized info on prospect, just as Spencer showed, along with scores on your user profiles, along with crafted one-liners. So this model has a pay-as-you-go system where for 50 enrichments right now, you pay around $30, and for 300 enrichments, you pay $150. The premium version comes along with, apart from Dotflo Zama standard search, it also comes with prospect management system, email management, and future prospecting. This is to give you a complete business software that you can use in a full manner. So this has a more SaaS kind of model with dynamic pricing, with the $100 base fee along with 250 credits to start you off and ability to add more. So let's see how Dotflo compares to competition out there. There are tools like Apollo, Lucia, Lemlist, which gives you a list of people that you can reach out to, but it lacks that research part, and people generally have to go and do that research by themselves. So what people generally do is what you've seen in our experiences: either outsource it to freelancers from Fiverr, Upwork, or freelancing.com, or there are tools like Hunter, which also do research, but it's not at scale. So at Dotflo, we try to bring the research and the scale together. So we launched Zama on November 1st of this year, which is pretty recent. We pivoted from our past idea on October 15th of this year. Right now, we have 3 paying customers from e-commerce and some small agencies. On total, we have 14 users using the product right now. Some of them are on free trial. So talking about our market, to start off with, we are focusing on the early Shopify owners and small agencies right now. Going forward, we are planning to target more on B2B growth stage companies, which are 1 to 10 people to 50 people in size, who have like smaller sales team and looking to grow. Talking about a bigger picture, we aim to focus all e-commerce and all different sales team across the globe, bringing our TAM to around 54 billion. So we have raised 100K up to date right now, and we are using that to recruit top talent and scale our tech. Our next round would be a seed round for $1 million. So yeah, why take a bet on us? I've been working around AI for past 4 years, working with different research labs and also companies like Cisco, Intel, and AI-GT. I've been author in different publications in IEEE and ACM journals. And yeah, I'm a tech writer and boxer at Georgia Tech. Spencer, you want to conclude?
Yeah, sure. So my role at Dotflo is the marketing, sales, go-to-market, and finance. So I'm a senior at Furman. Last summer, I worked in Chicago for Ernst & Young and their M&A practice. When I was going into my sophomore year of college, for that summer, I drove covered wagons pulled by 2,000-pound horses. So I'm actually considered a professional horseman, even though I'm from Maryland, and it was the first time I touched a horse. So when I was a freshman, I started a Trash Valley company out of my dorm. I grew it to 250 people, employed 4 students. We've raised over 100K to date. I've had a few other fundraising projects, and I'm a Division I athlete. We've learned a lot over the past 6 months on what not to do. And we've been able to take all of those lessons to quickly pivoting, building something that people want to pay for. That's a big lesson we learned. Don't build something that's nice because people say they want to pay for it, but if you don't hold them accountable, then you probably aren't building something people actually want to. So we're using those lessons to continue to build out Dotflo. And we'd love to show you guys we're about to release our version 2. We were going to show version 1, but it's a little scrappy. It's really simple. You just upload your prospect list. You download a CSV with a bunch of enrichments. But we'll show you what the new version will look like. It's not full. The backend isn't fully functional, but it shows all of the steps that you would take, and it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
And we should be. Yeah.
So just to show you what our current version looks like when you log in. So this is the. This is. Okay, I'll just move to the newer version that we have right now. So this is what it looks like right now. So what you would ideally do is have your prospect list and upload your prospect list here. And from there on, you can go on. I'll just upload like a sample list here. And there on, you tell Dotflo what you're looking for. If it's something specific, maybe you're looking for people who can be mentors in your next event. So from there on, we try to bring some, allow you to bring in some profile similarity tags. And again, this is like a work in progress right now. We're just building it out right now. And from there on, you see what kind of things you need as an output from Dotflo. Maybe it's a LinkedIn message, one-liner, email. And from there on, you go ahead and enrich with credits. And we we offer like 10 free credits to start off with, and that's where you can use the credits from. So once you have people in the prospect list enriched, you can go to lead management. This is one of our major additions in this version compared to the past version. In the past version, you uploaded an Excel sheet and got back an Excel sheet, but here you would get like a proper management system where you see a complete profile being built out. And this would be based on the similarities between people in your team that you have already inputted to Dotflo. For example, here I already have my profile inputted, and you'd see firstly it would build a profile for my prospect, and then also build similarities between people in my team and that prospect. And from there on, it would go to whatever you've selected, maybe a email reach out, it would generate those for you. And you can also add notes that you can refer back. So yeah, this is like a work in progress right now. We'll be launching this pretty soon. But yeah, this is how this would look.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This is so cool to hear. I love what you said too about the pivot. I was actually going to ask kind of what was the impetus of that? It sounds like you guys are moving very quickly, which is so super exciting and super helpful. You know, if people aren't paying for something, or if you built it just to build it, that was very good advice, and hopefully you guys experienced the quick shift. We do have one question here. I'm trying to make sure I ask it correct. How does your platform assist in structuring and devising the most suitable research design, or in determining the optimal course of action once it's generated?
Yeah. So yeah, I can take that. So what we so when a user makes an account, they upload their team information, they upload that list. There, we allow them to basically create a prompt. So the prompt says, "Hey, I'm looking for people who have Shopify backgrounds. If you find anything on Shopify, bring that back into the profile page." So then that's the first part of that information coming in. And the second part, Dotflow would actually look at the profile that the person on the team created for themselves on that account page. So I went to Georgia Tech, I am an economics major. And then from there, let's say they have 10 other people on their team, 10 different profiles. It would then cross-reference those prospects with those people on the team. And we actually assign who should send the message. But yeah, so we give a little bit of criteria, and then we kind of have created a way where we do some searches on the internet, and we're able to pull in the most likely link. And then from there, we go into the link, extract that information based off what the user's looking for and their criteria, just saving them a lot of time.
Okay, and you said you've got 3 current customers that are in the newest thing, which you just launched. Congrats, that's exciting. Is there something that in that specific use case, who is your ideal customer? I think you touched on it a little bit. You talked about your focus on the Shopify, but to give us a little bit, like a quick, like, who is that exact person?
So I think our the real focus for us is those early B2B companies with like 1 to 10 or 50 people, which don't have like a full-fledged sales team to do research. So that's our like primary focus right now. But even going forward, even the bigger sales team can use us to just improve their efficiency, though they get the research done by themselves. So right now we are looking at those early founder-led growth stage teams who are doing this research by themselves. And just we can be like that quick boost in like productivity and efficiency for them.
Okay.
And and to add to e-commerce as well. So we've had really good conversations with e-commerce people, people who are within the space. So James was actually someone we spoke to on Friday, and essentially he has this big prospecting list that he downloads, and then from there he actually will pay $30 an hour for someone to specifically find key points on the criteria he needs about those people. And then so e-commerce is also like a big point of focus, and that's one of our customers right now in that space.
That's great. Now, does your system currently integrate with the actual CRM, or are you copy pasting the emails? Does it shoot the email, or is that future state?
It's a future state. So right now it's more of like you have a prospect list, you put it in, and we'll be building those integrations for sure, because that's also a request we've been getting. So
Sure.
yeah.
Sure. Very cool. Well, y'all, thank you so much for sharing. Hopefully you guys can connect, put your contact in the, if you'd like, to connect with anyone here, throw your contact up there. And we appreciate, I love seeing it. I love hearing the quick pivots. That's really exciting. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Of course. So we've got 4 minutes here. I am going to share my screen real quick, just because we do have more events coming up. I know it's the holidays, so we'll give you a little bit of break for whatever holidays you're out there celebrating, but we'll be back here in January for another type of event that Atlanta Ventures hosts, which is called the Healthcare Entrepreneurship Meetup. It's very similar to these, but we will have 2 founders back. We've been doing these for 5 years, and so we're inviting Motivo and Informed. They're 2 founders of those companies. They spoke 5 years ago at a meetup, so we'll bring them back. And so we'd love for you to join. And then of course we'll be back in February with the Atlanta Startup Convos as well. So if you guys know any founders that are looking to present, I'm always open to connecting with them. And I usually give some time for needs and leads, but because we have 3 minutes, I am probably going to give you those 3 minutes back. I know it'll be such a game changer in your lives, but I appreciate Tyler, Jessica, and then Spencer and Nemeth for being here. I'm really glad that you guys could join. We will see you guys back. I will leave it open for a few minutes here to connect with people, but I appreciate you guys joining, and we will see you again soon. Have a great day. Goodbye. Talk soon.